talking about Devil May Cry 2. Not really doing a review on it. I guess it's going to be a review, but I'm just going to compare Devil May Cry 1 to Devil May Cry 2 and explain why you shouldn't play Devil May Cry 2, why it is the worst in the whole series. Man, this game sucked so much to play, and I had to play it a second time. I never thought I'd play it a second time, but yeah, I had to play it a second time just to fucking do this video. Because it's only fair that if I replay Devil May Cry 1 for this video, for like the 100th time, that I replay Devil May Cry 2, which, like I said, I've replayed Devil May Cry 1 like 100 times. Not 100 times, probably like 10 or 15 times. But I've replayed it that many times, and then I replayed Devil May Cry 2 once. Or no, I've never replayed it until now. There we go. I meant to say I played Devil May Cry 2 once, but I accidentally said replay. So yeah. Let's start off with Devil May Cry 1, just talking about the story. We'll just compare the story of the games really quickly. So the story of Devil May Cry 1 is that a long time ago there was a demon knight named Sparta, and he turns his back on the underworld and just murders a bunch of demons who are trying to invade Earth. And while he does that, he gets married to a girl, don't remember her name, but, yeah, research. He gets married to her, and they have 2 kids named Dante and Virgil, and then they get murdered. The parents both get murdered, but Dante and Virgil get away safely, so that's pretty cool. So this story starts off with you playing as Dante, and he now has a shop called Devil May Cry. Wow, it's the name of the game. And it's just a demon hunting shop. So one day, this lady comes in who looks like his mom, but it's not. She just looks like her. And her name is Trish. She comes in, she's like, "Hey man, I need to tell you about something." And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "Yeah, so there's this guy named Mundus, and he's trying to come back to Earth to invade again on this little island called Malay Island." And Dante's like, "Oh no." So that happens, you go to Malay Island and you fight Mundus, or you go to fight Mundus, or Mundus. I think it's Mundus. And yeah, so of course he's the final boss of the game. I'm not good at explaining things, so I hope that wasn't all over the place, and that will probably explain why there's cuts, because I probably rambled a bit there. So, let's get into DMC 2's story. I'm not really sure what DMC 2's story is. All I really know is there's a guy named Arius, and he's using demons to do something with his corporation. Let me see, because luckily DMC 5 has a recap where they explain the whole story, and they explain Devil May Cry 2 in that, so let's see what that is. TV's off. Don't worry, it'll turn on in the next scene. That's it? They don't even know the story? Wow, alright. But yeah, so the story of this game, from what I can gather, is you play as Dante. Okay, first, let's try it. This game has 2 discs. I haven't mentioned this. I'm only reviewing Dante's disc because Lucia is the 2nd disc, and she's not even in any other Devil May Cry game. She's only in this game. And I just don't want to play her disc. I've heard her disc is a bit better. It's not like her disc is like a fucking gem and the game just turns into the best game ever. No, I've heard her disc is still really bad, but just a tiny bit better and has some type of story going on for it. So maybe this shouldn't have been a Devil May Cry game because it had nothing to do with Dante. This story is stupid. Dante is just there. And fuck, he barely even talks. Every time he's in a cutscene, you know, and something happens, you expect him to say something. In the first game, he would give little witty comments to the bosses, and he would just, I don't know, he talked. He would talk, like, every time something happened. Every time there was a cutscene, Dante would talk.
What a big surprise. I hope for your sake you got something inside that big body of yours.
In this game, when you expect something to happen, let's say like an explosion or a boss ambushing him, he doesn't talk at all, and you kind of just sit there, like, you gonna say something? You're gonna actually say something?
Say something, I'm giving up on you. I'll be the one if you want me to. Anywhere I would have followed you. Say something, I'm giving up on you.
You must repent your sins. Don't speak. Just die.
Tears inside me, calm me down.
No? Okay. I think in total, he talks about 2 or 3 times in this whole game. You know? And then, he has this, in this game, he has this weird trait where he takes a coin. I happen to have a coin right here. I didn't know I had this here. He'll take a coin, and he'll flip it, catch it, and then he's like,
looks like it's your lucky day.
and so, you know, he does that throughout the whole game, and then the big plot twist is that it's a double-sided coin, and that, you know, it's just heads on both sides. It's stupid. So he's kind of just a dickhead saying, oh, if I flip this coin and it lands on heads, I'll help you. Why doesn't he just say yes? I mean, I don't know. At least in the anime, which I think came out after Devil May Cry 2, at least in the anime, his luck was a reoccurring theme, and the joke was that he had bad luck. Yeah, it's just stupid. Dante really has nothing to do here in the story besides besides say this one scene, which is probably the best scene in the whole game.
I was going to be the king of this world.
King? Yeah. Here's your crown.
Another thing that we're gonna go into really quickly is let's get into the weapons. So the weapons in DMC 1, they usually had an intro sequence for them when you would just you would pick it up and then you get this little cutscene showing off the new weapon. in DMC2, every weapon's the same. Hell, the guns are stronger than your actual fucking swords. In a hack and slash game, the guns are stronger than the actual swords. Okay. In DMC2, you have 3 weapons. This sword called Vendetta, which is like a short-range sword. Dante's default sword, Rebellion. And, I don't remember what the last sword is, but it's a really long sword. And that's about it. I never noticed a difference in damage in any of the swords. I'm like 100% sure they're all the same. They are all the same, just with different ranges. So, yeah, that's the swords for you. They don't get any type of introduction. They're pretty much just different skins on a sword. That's it. They don't really do much. In DMC2, sometimes the enemies won't even get intros, unlike DMC1, where every enemy had its own intro, and, you know, usually it was a pretty cool intro that would play. But DMC2, sometimes the enemies don't even get their own intros. Like, you'll just see new enemies pop up. So, bosses always had these really cool intros where Dante would talk. And, in this game, there are definitely a lot more bosses. With DMC1, you would fight each boss 3 times. The bosses were, Phantom, the spider. There were Griffin, and then I'm trying to do it in the order you fought them. Well, yeah, I'm gonna skip one because I'm going to talk about that person next. But yeah, there's Phantom, Griffin, and Nightmare. And then if you want to count Mundus as a final boss, you can count Mundus. Because you do technically fight Mundus 3 times, because you have the air battle, the ground battle, and then the very, very final battle where he's really weak. So, those are just the phases of the boss fight, though. So, yeah. You would fight each enemy 3 times. Usually they had their own intro cutscene where, like I said, Dante would talk, and, you would just fight them, pretty much. I don't know, whenever I do something like that, I lose thought. In DMC2, there's a lot more bosses that, they get their own intros, though I think there's one that didn't even get introduced. It's just there. But, it really says something. Like, here, this is the first cutscene for a boss fight in DMC1. Watch this really quickly, and then watch the first boss of DMC2.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Yeah, it really says something when the first boss of your game is a fucking helicopter in a hack and slash. And you know how you beat this helicopter? You stand on top of a building and just shoot it. Yeah, you just shoot it. Either you hold square or you spam square. The only difference is if you spam square, you can shoot faster. So yeah, this whole game could just be summed up as press square, because your fucking guns are so strong. You just press square. Unless you're on a time trial, then use your sword. Coda's barking. But, yeah, that's all. You know how you beat Phantom? They were pretty much, well, all you did was you would get on his back. His weak point was his very back area. And you would just hit it. You would just do a downward slash on it. Or sometimes you would even jump on top of his back, but that's kind of hard to do. And you could just slash at it. Or you can go into air raid and murder him, which is pretty much how you'll be murdering every boss, because air raid is overpowered. Or if you want, he shoots these little fireballs at you every once in a while. And if you do a stinger into them, you can shoot them back at him. So yeah, but DMC 2 just says, yeah, you're gonna stand here and you're gonna fucking shoot this infested helicopter for 20 minutes. And this is another thing. DMC 2 is just way too easy. It's such an easy game. I don't really need to talk about why it's so easy. Like, hang on, here's a clip really quickly. Now you're gonna see that I'm losing health in this clip, but I just wanna say the boss is not what was taking my health. In every Devil May Cry game, when a door has like a white or red seal on it, this hand comes out and it will grab you, and when it grabs you, it does damage. That's what's damaging me in this boss fight. I didn't realize I was right next to the door, because the first thing I did when I walked into the room and saw a boss was just start shooting him and standing still. But yeah, so the thing that's doing all this damage to me is the fucking door. Yeah, it's a game where the door is more dangerous than the actual bosses. So next, let's talk about your rival in DMC 2. So let's start with Neela Angelo, who is not from Devil May Cry 2, who is from Devil May Cry 1. So Neela Angelo is the boss that I didn't include, but he is a boss in Devil May Cry 1, so that now means Phantom, Neela Angelo, Griffin, Nightmare, and then Mundus. It's 5 bosses in total. And I'm gonna get this off my screen. This is gonna bother me. Okay. And I had to look up the name of the boss in Devil May Cry 2 because you don't learn anything about him. You never want to hear him talk, which is, I guess, you never hear Neela Angelo talk either. But you never want to hear him talk or show any type of reaction. He never does anything. He's just there. And he just shows up. He's pretty much a Neela Angelo wannabe. So in Devil May Cry 1, there was a Dark Knight named Neela Angelo who would show up throughout the game. He shows up 3 times. And the first time he shows up is he appears in the mirror as like a clone of Dante's doppelganger. And close that. Okay. And so he appears as Dante's doppelganger, and then he transforms into the Dark Knight. This is foreshadowing that he's Dante's twin brother. And so he runs outside. And then when you get outside, you hear one of my favorite songs from this game, and this cool little scene of him on top of a building, and then he jumps down, and that's when the boss fight starts. So then this is how you introduce a rival into a game. Now, this is what's so bad right now. I don't even remember how, what is his name? Bulwark? Bulwark is introduced in this fucking game. Because he's so forgettable, but he's supposed to be your rival in the game. He's supposed to be someone who returns like multiple times and you just fight him. Okay. Yeah, I'm using mic audio for this part, because this game is literally becoming fucking unbearable to play. Oh fuck, I can't use mic audio. The only annoying part of the game, this boss fight isn't a boss fight against Bulwark. This boss fight is a boss fight against the targeting system. Because, my god, I don't know who made this choice for this game, but for Devil May Cry 2, they made it so the game is constantly targeting an enemy, which is fine. That's what later Devil May Cry games do, and that's what the first game did, you know? But the thing is, you can never turn off this targeting system, so you are constantly locked on to an enemy. No matter what, you're locked onto them. It doesn't matter where you are, or what button you press, you can't turn it off. So it's just an auto lock on, and this can fucking suck in a lot of areas. But it sucks a lot for this boss fight because there's two boss fights. It sucks a lot for this boss fight because he has these two wolves that will sit there and all they do is bounce around the arena like fucking we're playing what's the game? It's pinball. It was a pinball machine. And so as they bounce around constantly, your fucking auto target will keep targeting onto them, and it doesn't matter if you press R2 to switch it back to the actual boss that you're trying to murder, because as soon as one of them gets close to you, it will switch back to them. And this is the most frustrating thing ever. And that's why I say this boss fight, it's not a boss fight against Bulwark, whatever the fuck his name is. It's a boss fight against the actual auto-targeting mechanic. And then, this isn't the only fight that's like this. There's another fight with, this like, butterfly thing that has these larvae, which those are just worms, coming out of the ground and trying to eat you. And it doesn't matter if you kill one, because another one will instantly come out and try to eat you. Now, the thing is, this butterfly has, like, no health. It has barely any health. And this is why I feel like they did this on purpose. They knew that this would be such a frustrating boss fight, because if these larvae keep coming at you, you won't be able to ever shoot the fucking butterfly, because that's how you have to kill it. You have to shoot it, because it never lands. It stays in the air constantly. And so the larva will just keep coming at you, and the auto-targeting system will be like, oh, you shoot the butterfly, like, one time, just one bullet hits it, and then the game will auto-target onto a larva that usually will just start fucking you up because the game auto-targeted, so where you're dodging now is kind of fucked up, and yeah, that's not fun. Still a I think we're done. I don't want to do this anymore. God damn, this game is actually unbearable. How long have we been playing? 2 hours. And it took me 4 hours the first time I played this game, as you can see, a fucking year ago. Oh. And we're 5 missions away from beating it. But I just don't care. I don't. I mean, I would like to play up to my favorite scene, but I just can't. I can't do this. This game literally breaks you down playing it. It just... From this point on, I'm having my mic on, because I'm just suffering playing this fucking game. This is so bad. I don't know why I'm replaying this. I'm just considering not replaying this. I already remember how this game ends. I remember what happens from this point on. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to play this game anymore. I already know. Then at the end of this mission, Phantom shows back up. Blah blah blah. This is fucking stupid. Whatever. Come on. All right. It's just 5 missions. Let's tough it out.